I'm not feminine. I'm an X. I'm an X and an O. You know what the problem is? I watched a video online of a woman's athletic competition. We got these ladies working so hard to make it to the Olympics. But then in 2018, 2017, they now say that transgendered people should be allowed to participate in the opposite sex that they were naturally.
It's a total fabrication.
In those kind of athletic sports. So now I watched this video, these ladies running the 100-meter dash, and then there's one guy that identifies as a girl. You can clearly see his or her muscles are bigger than every other woman's muscles. You can clearly see that this her or she is a guy.
Suffering. Dying. Failing. This guy or girl dominates the 100-meter dash by like almost 10 meters. And she runs like that. And then she walks back. And you can see the frown on every girl's face. They look at this transgender and they're like, this is not fair. It's not fair. How
equality
am I going to compete with a guy? Now, what's the NBA going to do now? The NBA, where we're going to, or the women's NBA, where we're going to have men playing
equality
with the women and the women's. What are we going to do with women's synchronization swimming? Now we're going to see men in the women's synchronized swimming. What are we going to do?
And men are naturally better at it than women.
Basketball, maybe? Sometimes.
There's not a single thing a man can do that a woman can't do as well or better.
A UK-based rapper basically identified as a female and broke British women's weightlifting records.
Saying, look, I'm not a professional power lifter, but even I myself, I can stroll into the gym on any given day and I can break the British women's bench press record.
Let me put it more eloquently. He could walk in there and destroy the record.
A man can do that a woman can't do as well or better. Not a single thing.
In the women's gymnastics, we're going to see men now doing women's gymnastics and doing hopscotch. And what are we going to do with insurance on your car? Listen, they give women's insurance cheaper rates because they know that women don't have as much accidents.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it.
As men. So what are we going to do now? Now the men that identify as women, well, you got to give me a cheaper insurance rate because I'm not a man, I'm a woman. Well, hey man, I want that. Maybe every guy should just say they're a woman because, you know, we'll get an easier way. What are we going to do like with the old traditional concepts of the man holds the door for the women? Forget that. Women, hold your own door. What are we? I don't even know how you're going to have a real homosexual marriage because at the end of the day, we got a guy marrying somebody who's a guy, but then one has to be the feminine one and one has to be the masculine. So at the end of the day, a male is marrying a female because in their mind, one of them's a This is confusing. Who's going to be the bride? Maybe the groom and the groom. Listen, I don't know. You could do whatever you want to do. But this is what's happening in this generation. The toilet system that you're going to have men walking in your daughter's toilets. Now you're like, well, what's wrong with that? Well, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with that. If you come in my daughter's toilet when she's going to toilet, you're going to get a big punch from this pastor in your head. You ain't going in my daughter's toilet. I don't care. Because you're a pervert if you do. You gotta stay in your own gender. Now, how can we even define gender? Now it doesn't matter now. Now, whatever you identify. Why don't I just identify as a lizard? Put me in a cage. Sell me inside the pet store. I actually watched a video on YouTube with this lady who identified as a cat, and she's purring on her. I saw it with my own eyes. She identifies as a cat. So guess what? Now, because we're under the system that you can't discriminate against, that you can't really tell somebody that they're not a cat. So her psychologist is encouraging the behavior. Her psychologist, well, why don't you go by the window and purr? So now she's going by the window. Listen, you know what I call anybody that thinks they're a cat and a human being? Someone with a psychological illness that needs help. You need help. You go to Ethiopia. Listen to me. I went to Ethiopia. There's no such thing as Pride Parade. Listen, and if anybody was struggling with that, listen, and one day somebody's going to set them free.
Acquiring.